second webinar today. I've really been busy today. Started the day off by talking to Herdís Paula about your brand and your leadership, and right now we're going to step into a whole new area of branding. It's about your brand and your social marketing, and today I have with me one hell of a social marketing strategist. Her name is Thoranna, and she is the brand strategy nerd for entrepreneurs with a particular passion and talent for using social media and content marketing to build brands that people love. She also loves working with entrepreneurs and small business owners. She holds an MBA with a strategic marketing focus from the University of Westminster in London and has worked agencies and client side in marketing and at international and local agencies and businesses. Thoranna has trained and consulted countless businesses on their marketing, in particular through her online program for the Icelandic market, and it will be soon released internationally. You can find all about her at themarketing-untangled.com. Welcome, Thoranna.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Tell me first and foremost, what made Thoranna the brand that is today known as the brand strategy nerd? Tell me a little bit about you.
I think probably the biggest difference between me and your average marketing person is, and not everybody knows this, but some people do, is that I trained and worked as an actress for years before I actually moved into marketing. And I think that's one thing that's a bit different, you know, from the suited and booted corporate marketing people out there that then sometimes move into consulting and training. So I tend to have a quite informal sort of approach to things. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing for me. But then, of course, internationally, I find that being Icelandic is very unique. Not so much in my local market, obviously, but it seems to be something that interests people.
So you, as a Icelandic branding nerd, that makes you automatically unique from all the other branding nerds out there.
Yeah, you know, a stage school trained branding nerd, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, that's quite good. So yeah, there may be not that many actresses and singers who would then turn themselves into a branding nerd. And I don't think that there are any, at least, that are Icelandic.
Yeah, not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Yeah, well, let them come. Let them come. You haven't shown themselves so far. Welcome, everyone, to this special branding webinar today. And why don't we just start? And I actually think that I need to let everyone know in the beginning that this platform that we're using, Webinar Jam, it's a slight delay from the time that I'm saying something till you're actually hearing it, and so there is this slight delay that might sometimes look and feel like there is something awkward going on. Please don't pay any attention to it. It's called technology, and it's actually streaming backwards and forwards here. So just wanted to let you know that might be the reason if you feel that something is not exactly as smooth as it should be. But we are definitely live. Here I am in my office at Seltjarnarnes in Iceland, and you are in another part of Iceland, Thoranna.
Yeah. I'm out in Reykjavik, sort of near the international airport, near the Blue Lagoon. So that's where I roll. That's my neighborhood.
Exactly. I don't know why it seems like the camera is not pointing to you at the moment. It seems to be pointing at me all the time. Probably another thing that has to do with technology. I have no idea why that is happening, but bear with me if we, or bear with us if we can fix that. I don't know if you can see anything on your end, Thoranna. In the meantime, I see that people are coming in, and I'm curious. Where are you calling in from? Where are you coming into this special webinar today? If you could just use the chat room on the right-hand side of the screen and tell us where are you calling from. It would be interesting to see. This morning we had people basically from all over the world who joined the call, and it would be interesting to see if we have the same diversity in the crowd today in the afternoon as we did earlier today. While we are waiting for that to pop up in the chat room, I know that, and I told in my introduction to you, Thoranna, you took your MBA in London.
Yeah, I did.
And can you tell us maybe what was it about marketing and branding that really caught your attention?
I think for me, I'm a bit of a weirdo in the sense that if I do, you know, when you do those sort of IQ tests and brain tests and things, I'm in between the sort of creative side and the rational business side of things. And when I was an actress, I was a bit too straight and too businesslike, I suppose, for the acting community. I wasn't bohemian enough. But then I find that with the business community, they sometimes find me a bit out there. So when I did my MBA, I remember the head of my course was encouraging me to focus on finance. And actually, funnily enough, finance was my best grade. I don't know how that happened. But I just found that when I found marketing and branding, it was just sort of, I don't know, it clicked because it's business, which I love, but at the same time, it's all about, you know, creativity and strategy. And I think with branding in particular, there are so many parallels with building a character as an actress and then building a brand for a business or a person or a product or whatever you're building a brand for. You have to sort of think about each and everything that character does. So I think I was able to, I suppose, apply that directly from my training as an actress. So the branding side of things absolutely caught me straight away.
Yeah, that was, you fell in love, like
absolutely, you said. Absolutely.
I can see that we have Emmy here from Malaysia. She's your mentee.
Oh yeah, hi Emmy. Nice. Great to have you here.
From the Cherry Blair Foundation. Yeah, so we have people calling in from distance. Who else do we have here? Are people getting shy? How can people be shy when you and I are in?
Exactly. It's great to have Emmy as well, because she does sort of styling tips, and you know, she's very much when I'm working with businesses, and I then work with a graphic designer to build a brand identity, sort of the outward look of the brand. You know, I suppose you, Runa, and Emmy would be sort of, you know, you being the sort of the personal brand strategist, and then Emmy would be the perfect sort of complement to what you do with bringing that through in how you dress and what you wear and the colors that you choose and things like that. So it was really great when we were paired up together by the Cherry Blair Foundation to sort of learn more about what she does.
So we already have connections going on this platform.
Oh, definitely, yeah, we do. It's great. It's great stuff.
So let's go into the topic of the day. We are going to talk about your brand and your social strategy, and I thought that we might start up with a little poll and see where are people, what is the thing that our viewers where do they stand today. So I'm going to start here. A very easy poll. We just want to know if you are clear on exactly what you want your social media efforts to do for you. And that would be interesting. Tell us, give our viewers a little insight into what do you mean by what your social media efforts can do for you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the question?
Yeah. It's so easy to get lost in all this social media hoopla that's going on these days, and you know, as you come to grips with one social medium or feel that, you know, you're not completely lost, there'll be something else. You know, you know, once MySpace died, we all moved over to Facebook, and when people had got to grips with Facebook, you know, you had to be on Twitter, and now you have to be on Instagram, and you should be on Pinterest, and you have to be on LinkedIn, and then there's Google Plus, and I'm not even going to start mentioning anything above and beyond that, because those are just the main ones, but we could go on for absolutely ever. And it's so easy to get lost in sort of thinking that you have to follow the next shiny thing, and that you have to be everywhere, and that you have to just keep churning out things everywhere. But if you don't have a method to the madness, that's exactly what you get. You get madness. You won't move forward. So you need to think about, you know, being very strategic to begin with on choosing which social media you're going to use, because you're not going to have time to do them all properly. So it's a question of, you know, where is your target market? Where is your target audience very active? That's where you want to be. And then you need to know exactly how you're going to, you know, interlink that with everything else you're doing. So it's no good just being on social media, having loads of Facebook likes and Twitter follows, if you don't then know how you're going to continue that relationship. So what are you going to do? You have to think about... and I don't want to get into too much jargon here, but you have to think about your lead management. You have to think about the people that meet you on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you are. You know, you have to take that conversation somewhere else. You can't rely just on that social media to keep that conversation going. So what are you going to do? Are you going to, you know, the classic way is to sort of bring them into your email list to then continue the relationship there. But there are other ways. I mean, there are people that have had great successes with using groups online and things like that. The danger as well, though, is always if you don't sort of move people away from social media to a platform that you own, something like your email list, where, you know, if the email service you're using, you're not happy with them for some reason, or they make some changes, you can just download those emails and go somewhere else. You know, you want to be somewhere where you own it, because we've seen what happens if you rely too much on just using social media. I mean, look at all these brands that have been building up their Facebook followers like crazy for the last few years, and then all of a sudden Facebook just changes the name of the game, and all of, you know, and you don't really get any organic visibility on Facebook anymore. Now you have to pay to play. So it doesn't seem, even though using social media is smart, definitely, I don't think you can be in business today really without it, but you need to think about how you're using it and what you wanted to do, and you don't want to be hanging high and dry if they make changes like that.
So we are asking today, are you clear on exactly what you want your social media efforts to do for you? And we have the option, yes, I believe I do. Nope, what is having a strategy, or what is goal setting there, or gosh, I feel like a dinosaur when it comes to the social media. And actually, should we see the result here?
Yeah, tell me, how's it looking?
Well, that is amazing. 100% of our participants, they are absolutely clear what they want their social media efforts to do for them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Can you do another poll, and can you do a Q&A thing and ask them what they wanted to do?
Well, exactly. What I think that is a fantastic thing for people to come up then with what is the thing that they would really be of value for them to know more about.
Yeah.
That could help them today in our webinar here to take their business and their small business to the next level.
Definitely.
Definitely. So please use the chat room and pop in a question that you believe could actually help you even further.
Yeah, I absolutely do. No, I'm really glad to hear that, because I find that with so many of the people that I meet, that they sort of they feel like a hamster on a wheel, keep going, and feel like it's a lot of work, but they don't really know exactly what it's doing for them. And I think, in particular, people like with Facebook that are still chasing Facebook likes. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 Facebook likes. You know, of course, you know, it's great to have likes, but you can have a very successful business and not have that many Facebook likes if you know how to use Facebook to move things on.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So that actually gives meaning, if you are just coming into this place and you're starting using the social media, and you really, like, I hear so many of my clients, they say, you know, I know I should be there. I am starting, but there are something there that I'm not quite clear on. And I often feel that the answer is that they haven't really measured their results. Is that something that you are familiar with?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be spending time on something unless you know that it's working. And it's very easy to spend a lot of time on social media. So we want to be absolutely clear that it's doing what we wanted to do. But I just wanted to, on a side note, because, you know, we are sort of talking about it from the branding perspective, is that you really need to have a really clear brand strategy before you can start using social in a very effective way. Because if you start going north, south, and everywhere with what you're sharing, it's very easy to confuse people. It's very easy for them not to understand exactly who you are. So, and I think that's something that I've found as well, that yeah, it's great to show personality and, you know, post those cat photos or what have you, but at the same time you also need to always be thinking, what are the brand aspects and the brand attributes that I want to be building up, and how is what I'm saying on social media and how I'm interacting, how is it doing that?
Yeah, yeah. So this then it sounds like knowing what you and your brand stands for, and how do I consistently show that in everything that I do, online as well as offline.
Yeah. And then, you know, the other side of the coin is your target audience. You know, you have to know exactly where they are, and you have to know what they're interested in. And there's a wealth of information that you can find. I mean, things like Facebook graph search can tell you so much about your audience, and you know, what they're into and what resonates with them, and your insights and things like that. And with all of these mediums, there are so, you know, the analytics are getting better and better at telling us what works and what doesn't, and who's listening and who's watching, and we need to make good use of that.
Absolutely. Now, you and I and 6 other European branding and business experts are going to be spending a whole day in our special small business branding day here in Reykjavik, Iceland, September 6th, which happens to be a Saturday.
Yeah, I can't wait. It'll be great.
That will be so great. And we're inviting both Icelanders as well as people who want to use this opportunity to fulfill their bucket list and come to Iceland and do both. Both have go for a whole day learning more and how they can actually build themselves and build their business to the next level, as well as seeing some of the sceneries and the things that we have to offer here in Iceland.
Yeah, I don't want to. I hope the taxman isn't listening in, but I do want to point out to people that this gives them a chance to charge this trip on the business rather than themselves, you know, because they're coming for a workshop day. So I'd grab the opportunity if I were them.
Absolutely, and even if the taxman is listening,
yeah,
it's absolutely the thing that they should do.
Yeah,
and that's what we think is really the opportunity. I mean, we are in the middle of North Atlantic Ocean, and it basically it takes only a couple of hours to fly over. So and it's not that expensive. So yeah, so absolutely, I think that that's a huge opportunity out there. But can you tell our viewers, because I know that you're going to be giving just like all the other speakers, you're going to be giving about short workshop on the topic, your brand, your social strategy. Can you tell us a little bit, what are you going to be covering? What will people gain from attending your part in that day?
We're going to be looking at exactly how you're using it. I mean, we are a lot of the work that you'll be doing and others will be doing, so people should have an idea of the brand that they want to build up, and we're going to then look at how we can best do that, both by choice of medium and by targeting and by choice of what you're going to be sharing with people. So you should have sort of a clear idea of how you're going to use it to the best, so that it's as effective as possible.
Yeah. So who in your opinion, do you think would benefit the most to go through your workshop that day?
I think you have a lot of sort of small to medium businesses that are kind of a bit overwhelmed with social and find it a bit much, I suppose, and I find that there are a lot of those out there. So I think those are the ones that are going to benefit most, because they're going to come out with a clearer picture of what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, and you talked a little bit about it earlier. You talked about the importance to pick the right media, the right social media.
Yeah.
What are the? Do you have like one or two tips to share to our audience today, how to figure out which media?
Well, I think as I go through in my training program, whether you're choosing social media or any other sort of marketing activities, there are always 4 things to think about. You have to think about your target group, which is sort of the obvious thing, because if they're not there, then it's pointless for you to be there. You have to think about how it reflects on your brand, both how you can use it to build your brand. If you have a visual brand, then obviously you'll want to utilize things like Instagram and Pinterest and things like that. But also you have to think about what it says about your brand. Yeah. And I often find it, for example, I find it quite strange when I see like lawyers or financial consultants that want a very formal sort of image, and then they will go on Facebook. And if you think about it, going on Facebook is a bit like going to a party, and you wouldn't turn up in that at that party in that pinstripe suit and choking on your tie. You'd loosen up a little bit. So if you're not prepared to do that, then that's not the place for you to be. Whereas on LinkedIn, you can be a lot more formal, and obviously you want to show character and you want to show personality. But I think sometimes people sort of think, particularly with Facebook, people come to me and say, don't I have to be on Facebook, or don't I have to be on Twitter? It's like, well, no, you don't have to be. It might not be the right medium for you. So it's the target group, and it's the brand, and it's the marketing process or the lead management process. You have to think about where the social media fits into everything else you're doing, how it's going to lead to, from awareness and all the way through to the sale, and then onwards to repeat sale and referrals. But then finally, what I find gets lost in this a little bit is that if you have a small business and you don't have endless resources, you also need to think about what's right for me. So even if being on Twitter would be absolutely fantastic for you, if you hate the medium, if you don't like it, if you're not up for tweeting 4 times an hour, like Dan Sarella says you have to do to get results, then you shouldn't be there. Because if you're trying to do something that you're not really, your heart isn't in, you're never going to do that properly. So then you'd be better off taking the next best option, if that's an option that you like and you think you can go for. And this goes as well, because we could really say blogs are a social media. I mean, they really are. They really are social media. And that's another thing. You could be in an industry where, and a business where blogging is absolutely perfect for you, and somebody might say, oh yeah, you should blog, and you should definitely blog on Tumblr or whatever. But if that's not you, and there's no one on your team that's right for it, don't do it.
Mm. That makes a lot of sense, actually, when you're saying that.
Mm.
And just simply, yeah, I think that from personal branding perspective, people probably instantly feel it as well if this is done with, well, like the saying is, with a hanging hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
You feel that there's nothing there behind it, and you're not really going to get engaged, are you?
If you don't enjoy the medium, you're not going to be able to use it to its full potential, and that's just wasting your time. That's wasting other people's time and attention on having to sort of go see what you're up to, and it's just going to have a negative effect in the end. Exactly.
Now, as we talked about the Small Business Branding Day, I simply have to say that, of course, I am truly excited to see this day become a reality, and getting not only you, Herdis, who was with me earlier today, and yesterday we had Monique from Germany, and aside with, well, we're going to have Suki from England, we're going to have Derry from Wales. He would be very offended if I would say England or you.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Nick from England as well. Not to mention the other Runa Bergman, who so 8 of us are going to be showing we call it the 8 steps to sharpen your success as a small business owner. And so I think that it really is something that people should look into, and I'm just popping in here as we're speaking the possibility to reserve your seat on our early bird rate, which is saving you $200, and you can do the $200 can go a long way into the ticket to go to Iceland.
Yeah.
So use the opportunity and pop in your own reserve your seat there, so that you will for sure get the space that you want. It's just right after July 15th, it's going to go up to the original price, which is $497 US. Let's at the end, tell me one thing, Thoranna. What are the things that you feel our viewers could use and do instantly today that will make and break really their success as a small business owner and with the social media strategy?
Wow, that's not a small question, is it?
I know. I am so good at making big questions.
I think with regards to what we've been discussing, I think what would be the best thing for people to do is to go back now and have a look at their social media profiles, and just a long, good, hard look, and be absolutely brutal about whether they're working, whether what they're doing on them is working, whether they think, and if it's not, is it a medium that they think, could work for them if they made some changes and some tweaks, or do they think that that it's something that their heart will never be in and will never really properly work for them? And if so, throw them out. Don't use them. Don't do things just to do them. Do fewer things. Do them really well. Know what you want them to do. What's the next thing? When people have followed you on Facebook, what's the next thing you want them to do? If they've been following you on Twitter, what's the next thing? Don't just stay there, but really don't do too many things. Don't spread yourself too thin. It's never going to work that way.
Stay focused, stay clear, know what you want, know what you're doing, and stick to it.
Absolutely.
I think that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic last words in this short but sweet webinar around your brand and your social media strategy. Thank you everyone for attending. I do hope that you will be able to join me next week, when the topic is going to be how do small business owners adjust with corporate social responsibility in their own business, and what does it mean? why should they do it, and how can they start the process. So thank you so much, Thoranna, for your part today.
Thank you.
Like we say over here, bless, bless.
Bless, bless.